lean on that offense
However,
as much as we would like to. You look at everybody here on the sides of Gentlemen's. I mean, Kiz dropped a 1.27 over the series. Luna's 0.9, a 1.05 for Johnny, a 0.6 for Diamond Con.
Yeah.
You know, you can almost excuse like a 0.8 or something along those lines, but a 0.6, that is detrimental.
Correct. And I think the biggest thing about this, and just kind of referring to Diamond Con's immediate pickup into Gentlemates, I actually kind of look at that as similarly to what Rex did with Carolina, where he gets picked up almost last second, and guess who they play first? This Thieves team. Like, it's just not an easy team to spawn in against,
really
especially on the AR front, which Diamond Con's running.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, we wouldn't be leaning into it so much if the games went so close. I mean, what is this? It's a 26-point game in map number 1. It's a 1 round in the S&D and 1 round in the control.
Yeah.
And again, not to be picking on Diamond Con by any stretch. He will probably say the same himself.
Correct.
But if he has just an okay game, Gentlemates could have feasibly 3-0'd Thieves.
Absolutely. The 3 maps could not have been any tighter. That's the biggest kind of resurgent point. I know that the day was long yesterday. There's a big stiff argument to be made that there are not enough hours in the day when it comes to competitive Call of Duty, but we're reset, we're fresh, and we're ready to go. Gentlemates coming off of a win earlier today versus Team Orchid, hoping to keep that momentum high as they get a second chance versus 100 Thieves. Let's get it on.
And I think that's a really good point, actually. Gentlemates doing a convincing job up against Orchid. That might give them some real momentum heading into the series.
Well, Envoy will have first blood. There's been a lot of eyes and a lot of conversation from Thieves fans about what he can provide after what was also, I think, a categorically lackluster day from him. And he's already off to a 2-0 start and a pretty feasible amount of early hardpoint time. But we're talking he's already up to about 20 seconds and has only been 25 seconds off the game clock.
Yeah, that's a chunky amount of time. 30 seconds still being left over towards P1. But Gentlemates will manage to find a way through. Coming in from the other side, Hydra will be lingering around Kitchen, just trying to cook as best as he can. These kind of places, these kind of areas are where he really does thrive.
Indeed the case, and already kicking up a couple of kills, but still, decent response here from Gentlemates. Scrap, Ghosty trying to get the last player out, but Johnny continues to battle. And I will say, talking about Johnny, his addition to this Gentlemates team in the regular season didn't provide the spark that they needed, but boy, he's been electric so far here in Saudi Arabia.
He's doing well. Somebody who did sensationally yesterday, we did just touch on it a little bit there, Kismet. But I think that shoe was on the other foot. We talked about Diamond Con needing to step it up. Is Kismet going to be able to have a game like yesterday?
Yeah, absolutely. And then in the same front, just to keep that conversation about the roster going,
we can keep going.
Lunars with this new role looked a little bit more like he had been in the last 3-4 years of Challengers. So can that also be there? So far, everything's panning out very nicely for Gentlemates, considering the early 20 seconds that Envoy was able to find. They're going to get their first lead and still have a chance to hold on to this P2. Break from the front, starting to create something, though, and Diamond Con has to play for his life.
It's okay just to stay alive over towards this backside. Originally for Gentlemates, a lovely break. And owner of Thieves went, no problem, we'll try and do the same back in days. Nobody able to really hold on to P2 so far. And with 10 seconds to go, it's kind of a bit of a 50-50 split. Maybe Thieves just about get the better end of it. I don't think if you're Gentlemates, that's not the end of the world. You get broke back, you don't really lose a great deal. No,
about a 50-50 exchange, you take that. But over towards P3, a hard point that Thieves have found a lot of success on. And they find a way to produce that once again. Hydra setting up a pinch from the backside of the kitchen. Good shots, able to find himself too. And he wants more. Knows that there's one more player inside the hard point, but help has already arrived for Gentlemates. And they're going to hang on to at least be in a position to contest while Thieves restructure off the spawns towards the right side.
Yeah, Hydra's been a real menace so far. Seems to be slipping in behind consistently, sitting at 12-6. And we know what he can do, right? I mean, it's not a new story to anybody who has watched Call of Duty over the last few years. Hydra is a big problem. Right now, though, they do have a problem with 2 different directions that they have to now watch. Do the side of 100 Thieves inside the kitchen. Gentlemates find a way through just by pure brute force.
This has been a really even battle. I mean, 50-50 over P1, 50-50 over P2. And pending how this last 13 seconds goes, if Gentlemates can find the majority of it, it would be essentially a tug-of-war game here at the middle of the map as well. But everything starts to turn up in favor of Thieves, and you look down towards the minimap, looking over towards the next hard point at Bedroom, and Thieves have the perfect setup, including Hydra in the back, making sure the anchor is safe.
A close game, but Thieves definitely the ones leading the dance right now. Seems as if they are dictating the way that these games have, well, been playing. May well have an issue, though. Yeah, a couple of players have stood still. Not too sure if we are still going.
Well,
are we? Are we good? Are we locked in? Let's find out.
Yeah, that was Kismet, who was kind of stuck, and even still, it looks like he's just kind of running circles. Well, yeah, he's got to be broken. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Everyone's just kind of frozen at the moment, and Kismet is not moving. So surely there's something to be said about a potential pause or reset coming out, but the game is still going right now. Kismet still not able to fully get himself moving. So we're going to keep the game going until we get a call from the refs on the stage. So for the moment, Thieves comfortable, let's put it plainly.
We'll get it figured out. At this moment of time, it does not look like something is quite correct, but yeah, I think you're right. Until we get that call, there is really not a great deal we can do. The referee should have been alerted, but in all of that time, Thieves has got a 360 over towards P4. Everyone seems to be moving okay now. Oh,
no, it's still Kismet. Yeah, it's still Kismet. It's almost like he can only move his left joystick. Like, he's not moving his arrow at all right now. So, well, now he can. Uh-oh. This would be, well, maybe not. He's kind of floating and dancing a little bit still. Yeah. So we're going to play this through just a little while longer, but the idea would be that we should likely get a reset here. But for the time being, we'll call it as it lies.
It's difficult, isn't it? Like, you know, you kind of want to talk about Thieves, who are down 110 points in the lead, but I think it's an immediate distraction with Gentlemates, and hopefully we get a resolution to that whenever does happen. Right now, Gentlemates are very much playing with their hands, time behind their backs. Ruling waiting to be decided. We'll get there in the end, but that ain't our job. Kismet on a little bit of a shake of the head, but we have been told we are going to go for a restart.
Okay. Give me your thoughts here, because honestly,
I think we're in a good spot, right?
Yeah, but I think at the same rate, like, I'm looking at that first 3 hills, and outside of the back 15 seconds of the scrap on P3, that's a 50-50 tug-of-war game. I mean, you get 20 out of Envoy to start on P1, immediately responded by Gentlemates. Thieves get the early break towards P2, counteracted by Gentlemates. It just feels like there is this bit of a ping-pong back and forth going on right now. Yeah,
there was definitely a ping-pong, but it felt like the pressure was more so, of course, on the side of Gentlemates. It definitely felt as if Thieves were the ones that were, I want to say, just consistently being the ones first there and finding maybe the odd trade here and there. But I mean, look, it's hard to say. And Thieves were the ones in the lead, and they were the ones leading the dance, so to speak. Let's get some news in our ears, of course, of what was going on. A little bit of a controller issue there for Kismet.
That's what it looked like. Yeah, he was only. It looked like his right analog was just not moving.
Yeah, so we're getting that figured out, and we should be back into the game for a full reset. That is, well, again, you don't mind a reset so much when it's a 20-30 point gap, right?
No, not at all. I mean, again, it's about as even as the game could have looked like for the first 3 hills and Skyline. I think the only thing that would have been kind of maybe an influence factor is the fact that Thieves had won that P4 side of the map, and again, Money Hill, you assume the better of Thieves in those moments to get 30 plus, but again, that's all neither here nor there. It's as even as it gets. So for Gentlemates, I would say, just kind of reflecting off of how they played Thieves yesterday versus what we're getting today, Diamondcon is, I think, looking more confident in his role with this team. I think especially kind of watching on with the B stream when they were playing Team Orchid. Serviceable, I think, enterprise from Diamondcon, played well. Maybe not the standout, spotlighted, hard, heavy carry that you might want to see, but you are in a position of, hey, at least we're shooting back and we're keeping it around even. So there's good news for Gentlemates fans. I think the biggest story now, kind of taking the perspective of Thieves fan, is are we going to get the same performance out of a player like Envoy, who did suffer a little bit in this matchup?
A lot of permutations.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing, you know. Again, like, it was a point I wanted to make, but we jumped in the game quite quickly. Was about Kismet and how well he played yesterday.
Correct.
And it's almost like, how many kills are there on the map for Diamond COD? With Kismet's dropping 40, right? I mean, that's one thing that you have to kind of always take into consideration. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for Kismet to drop 40 if his controller isn't working, in fairness.
Correct.
Hopefully he can get a suitable replacement, and we'll get that figured out pretty soon. But yeah, look, it was pretty close to kick things off. We'll go again, but I think for both these two squads, like, the pressure really, truly is on Thieves, right? I mean, I think, you know, if Gentlemates had to go out of this tournament in 3rd place in this group, I think that was always kind of what we expected to happen in a certain way. If Thieves go out in that fashion, though, I mean, that's pretty bad, and that's pretty
miserable end of the season.
A truly miserable end of the season. That'd be very definitive. What I will say, though, is they're in a solid 2nd place for favorite jersey at the event so far.
Next to who?
G2.
Thank you. I was going to say G2's unities were clean.
Oh, you know what I like about the G2 one, though, is the full tracksuit.
Correct.
Like, we're vibing. Like, the nice light outfit. It's very summery. I'm all about it.
They're in that beautiful almond, which is popular right now.
Yeah. You know what it is, though? If I turned up wearing something like that, you'd probably criticize it.
I would.
You're the only man to criticize. Thankfully, we don't have a cam in here. But you're the only man to criticize the stash so far, and honestly, it's quite helpful.
There's posts on social media, friends. You can roast CJ Tun on Twitter and Instagram, wherever. The stash, I'm not a fan. I'm just not a fan. I want to see that rockin' upper lip.
It's after some of the jackets I've seen you, well.
Whoa, dude, don't hate on the grandma couch jacket, all right, brother? That jacket's heat. Let's get back in, though. Reset. It looks like everyone is good to go, well, even especially if you're a Thieves fan. First 4 eliminations go their way, and it's back to business as usual.
Yeah, that's not the restart you want of your gentlemates and your Thieves. You have started off where you left, even considering that now Kismet is very much in the game. See him moving there over towards the backside, just going to keep an eye on his name on the minimap just to make sure everything is tickety-boo.
Well, Scrap holding down the upper areas of this P1 overlook. And yeah, he's just absolutely frying. He would have had that one too, but Ghosty beats him to the punch. And it has been a perfect start for Thieves. Now trying to flip the map, and they will stagger the spawns out for Gentlemates. It's only one player in the back, and it is the aforementioned Kismet. Needed to make a play.
Oh, he has made a play, actually. He does really well. Manages to get through Piano and go up the elevator shaft, and he finds a kill. That's now allowed some doors to be open for the side of Gentlemates. And that's all Kismet, just being patient, right? He doesn't even pull up any trees. No problem whatsoever for Ghosty, though, to try and get himself back into the spot. Expects the challenge, cannot deal with it, but ends 6-0.
Yeah, and I think the thing about that is Ghosty also blocks the spawns one more time, and there is a spawn up for Ghosty. So an opportunity here for Thieves to really run away with the early stages of this game. 6-1 for Scrap. He's going to find another on Kismet, and that will clear the field. Gentlemates now spawning way far out, and Thieves looking good for the back 30.
Really good time here for Thieves. Spawn should come in as well. When these gunfights, though, and it's just no problem. If you're going to go 1-by-1 against Ghosty and Scrap, well, Kismet's going to win a good gunfight by the looks of things. Can he find a second Kismet just doing all on his own? No controller issues there, but again, they are on your own after all 3 teammates have dropped.
Exactly, and this doesn't really turn into too much outside of a little bit of a nice individual finesse moment. Scrap 7 in a row as Diamond Con in this reset is 0-6. This is the thing we talked about in this head-to-head matchup throughout the entirety of the year, but in particular yesterday, the AR differential was significant, and we're seeing that come to life again.
And the thing for Diamond Con, we did give him some credit in the sense that it has released Lunas somewhat, and you need to see some benefit from that at the same time. You know, we've allowed Lunas to get onto his aforementioned favorite role, but when Dan Ghosty's 11-3, make it 12, he's just doing it with everything, and this is a very different scoreline to what we were looking at last time we were at Kitchen.
Combined 24-5 for the ARs of 100 Thieves, comparatively to the 6-16 of the combination of Lunars and Diamond Con, who, again, DC finally gets on the board. Need that to turn into something, and something quickly, though, because this game's almost already over.
I mean, if you think about FaZe yesterday when they were going up against Omid Drazer, at one stage he was sitting at 0-5, ended 9-6 on the Search and Destroy. You need that kind of turnaround if you're Diamond Con right now, because right now your team have 12 kills, you nearly have that many, 12 points, you nearly have that many deaths already.
Woof. That's about all you could say through the first 3, make it possibly 4 hills. Scrap and Envoy dealing with a little bit of trouble as Gentlemates are splitting the map and have some force to get around the back, but it's not together. Lunars, Johnny, both fall individually. Ghosty here to save the day. And what? I think if you're Gentlemates, can we go back to the 3v4 we were just playing when Kismet lost his controller, because they are getting stonewalled.
15 points. Although the case of about 3.5 different hills so far. This might be their opportunity. Diamond Con will find 2, but spawns towards the back. Yeah, you're not finding them in the right places. Luna's ready and waiting for it. We'll find the gunfight on the Scrap. He gleefully went for that child. The way that things are going so far, there's of no question that the roster are feeling confident. Another 4 dead, another 20 points. They are going to be approaching 200 by the time we get to the next rotation.
And I think the thing about this 100 Thieves team, when they're really connected and coordinated, they don't let you take a breath. They don't let you come off spawn as 4 and then get the setup. They're going to keep pushing someone forward to make sure that they at least go 1 for 1 and keep you at low numbers. But this is egregious. I mean, we've seen some blowouts, like a 250-37 I think Boston had handed to them. We've seen a couple of bad losses from Carolina against this 100 Thieves team, but this is obnoxious.
Another 10 seconds, Gentlemates would have doubled their time so far over the map. There's just no way to butter it up, though, right? I mean, they are getting bodied right now. Thieves in a very commanding position, but finally, Gentlemates seemingly are getting some points on the board. Johnny inside the point, just trying to survive. The rest of his team dropping around him. Scrap finds 2, Envoy another. Kismet trying to save the day. He cannot. Some time will go over towards Thieves. The respite for Gentleman's that in 25 seconds time, they are on the correct side of the map with P2.
Yikes. I mean, if Gentleman's get broken here, we can start talking about Hacienda Search, because this map would be over. Nice 3 down, though. They have missed Envoy around the back. That's the only big problem, and now Envoy will reveal his position. Trying to chase his Kismet. We'll find him off the drop down and deal with it quickly. But that does, again, block one member out from spawning in. Don able to utilize that off spawn as a chance to kind of pinch through the old time. Hydra now getting to work around the back, finds one for free. Not able to anticipate the second as of yet, but the help from the front from the rest of the Thieves team is already here. Lunar's in some trouble. Finesses gets one, gets away. Envoy can't trade. So still a chance here for Gentlemates to find some sort of a connection around the back, but while this is all happening, Scrap is still going to have free hardpoint time.
And he's getting it absolutely entirely free. Spawns towards the back, though, are still there for Gentlemates, if only momentarily. 2 players inside of the point, and finding some kills as well. Can they seal the deal with a shot into Envoy? Yes, they can, so that's going to help them solidify. And give Gentlemates their credit. I mean, the lead is one of those things that's still very much there, but over the last 2 hills, significantly better.
Chris, we could go ahead and just say this the way it is.
Seats, right?
You know, I mean, you've seen things, you've seen hotel comebacks. This would best that, let's be honest. If they pull this one off, this would best that.
We aren't talking about Thieves yet. We aren't talking about Thieves, and that's who it happened to. Never seen anything like it in my life, and I will happily sow those seats for us all.
All right, well, get to work farming those up. Going to be over 200 points here for Thieves. Contest comes in for a moment, but Diamond Khan having a hard time finding some ground to work with. And Kismet by himself, bested by Hydra at range. So now over the double century mark, goes 100 Thieves. I mean, you're still dealing with the ARs of 100T. 44 and 28 combined between their KDs, just dominating at the moment.
The domination, right? Gunfights inside the kitchen. Yeah, Hydra wins those trades all day long. And I'm not being funny, you'll see Diamond Con on the map and he's like, yeah, I'm just challenging it right now. He's not having a good time. No. He said he needed to step it up, and that's a little bit better. Good shots coming through, but the immediate trade is there. Yeah. They'll force their way through towards the P4 spawns. This has been a clinic so far from Thieves.
And again, that's just like the problem of a spot that Diamond Con finds himself in. He's trusted to run like a solo anchor AR, locking down one side of the map, but you're playing against a Thieves team that not only has 2 of the best ARs in the game, but you also have 2 SMGs that are happy to push out and challenge you to keep you displaced. It's the exact same thing that happened to Rex when Carolina first played Thieves when he was picked up. It's just such a tough team to play up against. And as we move back over towards bedroom, it will be Thieves winning the rotation, locking down the spawns, and about to put Gentlemates in the 100-point club.
Incredible work from the side of Thieves. One last opportunity. A roll of the dice for Gentlemates comes up with a 2 at best. My word. That was the kind of man that Thieves needed to come out into this series. Question marks have been sort of risen up against them, especially after the game yesterday against Gentlemates, against Heretics, obviously falling. And that, I don't want to go as far as saying a statement, but a nice steady start to the series at least.
I think the thing about it is, like, again, our reaction as a recency bias it might come across from yesterday, it just wasn't what you wanted to see from Thieves at all. In terms of, it's been a month since their unfortunate fall in Kitchener. A lot of questions about, did they take the tournament maybe a little bit too complacent to start? You know, kicking the soccer ball around a little bit before their match. We saw that happen in Dallas, but the thing about it is, we know what the potential of this team is. It just comes down to, are we actually going to consistently see it? And I think there was a bit of a wake-up call when they played Gentlemates, even though they 3-0'd them yesterday. All 3 maps were close. Yeah. You get into a really tough Vancouver Surge team, and you play them tight for all 5 maps. You don't quite get past the finish line, but now off the reset, you come back out, and that just looks more like what it's supposed to look like if you're Thieves.
Yeah, no, that's the kind of thing we would have come to expect. Either way, getting it done now when it really does matter, but that's
dude.
Yeah, man, that's tough. It's just so hard as well. Honestly, I think Gentlemates might have had more points at the time of when we ended the first game than they ended up with. Tough scenes, really poor start. I mean, look, the back half wasn't that bad. They probably went pretty even, but when you're that far behind, even is not good enough. No. Utter domination on the side of Thieves, and now heading into a search and destroy. If you're Gentlemates, you need to switch back on quickly.
Yes, you do. And it's a Hacienda that we did not see them play yesterday. This will be a unique map between the 2 of them. The problem is, when they have played this map throughout the year, Gentlemates have not found much success on it. Again, it kind of comes with a caveat because multiple instances of different rosters, so on and so forth, but That guy on the front side of your screen needs to step up. And I know we had this cast yesterday. I don't think we ever really touched it. We're trying to avoid talking about Diamond not playing well, but you can't avoid it after you see it 2 in a row.
No, of course not. I think it's something that it just has to be relevant to it because the game is so close. Look, if they get blown out of the water and he has a bad series, then it is what it is, right? Look, everybody hasn't necessarily performed to that level, but it's so close. That's where you start to go to the underlying figures. That's where you start to go at the outliers. You have to sort of say to yourself, right, what is going on? Yeah, he's trying to be. He's trying to be. One day. That's what he wants. Scrap, one of the greatest of all time, would be something he would take from his career.
Yeah.
And he's against, I should say next to another who will very much have his name in that Hall of Fame later on in his career in Hydra.
Indeed the case. Kind of taking a look over some of the individual numbers here, and we talk a lot about teams that make multiple roster changes. It's all about trying to improve, find a way to correct mistakes that had been plaguing them over the year. For this Gentlemate squad, not a bad first blood team, but a miserable conversion rate percentage when it comes to having those first bloods. And I think a lot of that is, again, you look at the players that have played for them, and the SMGs in particular, very happy to run forward, maybe get 1 kill, but then they get instantly traded. So it's like you're really not playing 4v3s, you're playing 3v3s. I think the biggest thing about this, and what we talked about yesterday, something we really gave a lot of credit to Gentlemates, is that they were finding a first blood and then staying alive.
Yeah.
Getting themselves those number of opportunities, but it wasn't on a map like Hacienda, so we've got a unique look here for map number 2.
Yeah, it's a little harder to get away on Hacienda than it is on Dealership. Halfway line, get a kill, dip it out. Yeah, you can't do that so much on this Classic. Let's see how it's going to play out, though. These two teams posturing up top. Johnny will get that kill and will absolutely be able to get out. Envoy pushed very high up, and Gentlemates just wait for him.
That felt like 100 Thieves seeing what they can get away with type of start.
That felt like we just said 70-point club.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, Hydra's going to get a read that the window is wide open and going the way of Gentlemates. Johnny just continuing on his route. Good prediction from Johnny. Gets himself 3, working on potential for an ace, but Scrap is on the other side of the map. Kismet going to throw some shoulders, and Diamond will get on the board with a flawless round for Gentlemates on their opening offense.
Big plays coming in from Johnny. The opening blood kind of gets presented to him. But the next 2 very much had to work for them. Yeah, Envoy is just flying through the front door and nearly gets him, to be fair, but then Johnny goes on to very much do what he wants. That's incredible. Hip fire. Slammed Ghosty. 1-0 up. Very, very nice run. Yeah.
That's the power of a player like Johnny. And don't want to keep creating these challengers commentaries, but when he was in the Vanguard year, he was looked at as one of the best flex SMGs that we had in Vanguard and North American Challengers. Then he gets picked up to a Paris team that's already out of the running for playoffs. Doesn't go well, obviously, because that team was less than good. And again, same situation here. Picked up halfway through the season, but as we get into this round, and it's the SMGs dominating. Follow-up, good though, from Johnny. Almost able to take another double, but there was good support there for 100 Thieves to hold the edge. 1v2 for Kismet.
They fully rotated through. I think Kismet will be probably well aware, though. He's got here enough time that kind of just got to deduce where they've went, and that's the only real place they could have. But I think for Kismet here, slowing down may well be the play. They could be absolutely anywhere around the back of the spawn. They've spotted you out as well. He's going to dip, dive, and dodge and get the hell out with that. We forgot about Duck yesterday. We're not forgetting today.
We is generous.
No, we've been a duo these past 2 days. You have to, you're there for my fault.
Okay. Keep that in mind. See what Kismet tries to play off the post plant. Envoy on the rock. Ghosty on this cross. Both nades to play with here for Kiz, but goes for the raw check and finds both players waiting eagerly to find the easy kill.
I felt like that round was over maybe a little while ago. If Johnny wins that gunfight over on the site, very different scenario. I will say, Thieves fans out here in some decent numbers, all right? Yeah, very much here. Shout their team on, and hopefully they can shout them on over the next 2 days. A long way to come for them to be knocked out in groups.
You don't need to cover up that. You can say it with some force. Put your chest into it.
Well, right now it doesn't feel like that's going to
well, true. Yeah, after you put your opponent in the 70-point club, yeah, that's pretty valid. Next offense for Gentlemates developing over towards Secret and up top towards the window. Could be a contest here for 100 Thieves. They're watching it. Yeah, I was going to say with Ghosty on the cross and the potential for the follow-up through the top hallways, which is exactly what's coming through. Hydra, that's free. And it's just down to Diamondcon. Wow. Not going to happen. Perfect defensive response. Bit of a blind counter, but adapted nicely by 100 Thieves to deal with the window play.
Hydra's a kid in a candy shop when he gets around those kind of angles, right? Sees two like that, and you know they're dead before he even fires the first bullet. He ain't going to mess that up. Just finds the routes. Yeah, first one. As soon as Johnny dies, Luna, yeah, following. Incredible work from Thieves to get that one up and running again. Ghosty finding the gunfight. It's just a little bit easy in that round, and Ghosty's letting them know about it.
Oh, yeah.
He's been letting a few people know about a few things, actually, this week, hasn't he?
That one doesn't take a 5-minute monologue, though.
No, not quite.
That one speaks for itself. So, early edge for 100 Thieves, now onto their next offense. Hydra looking for another aggressive route through Fountain. Nades up top. Extra pre-fire going towards fences, and Hydra will get through, but Envoy drops in the process, and now it's just about trying to wait, keep the focus on Scrap. RCXD going to push him out, though, a touch, and they will find another elimination while Hydra is just waiting for something along the back, but as the RC connects, now it is just down to the French Phenom for what would have to be a 1v4.
Difficult scenario, but very little information for the side of John Limits, but the problem really is that, well, Hydra does not have the bombers. That would be okay. Nade over the top as well. Not going to land onto anything, amount to anything. Just an impossible push here for Hydra, but if anyone can do it.
Currently, no one's looking this direction. Gonna get Diamondcon for free. Follow up? No, not gonna get away. Cheeky idea, but again, like you mentioned, pretty impossible situation to be in. And that's just really unfortunate if you're a Thieves fan, because you're like, yeah, we got Hydra through, let's go. And then all of a sudden you lose Envoy. The RC pushes your ARs out of position, and everything just falls apart.
Yeah, Johnny really just the sacrificial lamb after what was a good RC play. Shots coming in. Only solidify the round there for General Mates. Rounds of Thieves here have been fast and furious, whereas General Mates have had to draw them out maybe just a little bit, but it doesn't matter how you get it done.
As long as it gets done. There's no pictures on a scorecard. You know that better than most.
Well, the less said, the better.
Kismet going to be isolated and pushed through. I don't think anyone actually has seen him here. Nade over the top, I believe, also gets a little bit of information off the stun check, so this is a chance. Thank you very much, and all of a sudden, Gentlemates, huge advantage, but Diamondcon, as the bomb carrier, falls towards A, and now it puts Lunars in a tough spot as Envoy finds the kill, Ghosty following, and oh no.
I mean, look at the positions that everybody there from Gentlemates has died in. One back garage, one's in middle map, one's pushed up on A. Like, what's the plan after Kismet finds that first blood? It feels like there's no plan. What are we trying to do there? All the positions they've died in, none of them are in a place to trade. Okay, this is great from Kismet, found a great position. But Diamondcon pushed it up all the way towards A, all on his own. You've got a teammate in garage, and another over, I don't know. I'm questioning it a lot.
A little disjointed, but that's another byproduct of, again, having a newer player on the roster. We often talk when there's substitutes that happen within weeks, the playbook gets a little thin, gets a little disjointed.
It's very tough, but it's fundamental, right? Ghosty and Cole trying to show their fundamentals. A big hit over towards B. Can they come out on top? Envoy will find one.
What a finesse.
Surviving as long as you can if you're Ghosty. A little bit of dipping and diving. Hydra now left in a 1 versus 2.
Oh, he's seen one for free. Problem is he slides out into the waiting arms of the other. Yeah, nice little opportunity there for 100 Thieves. I mean, you expect that there's going to be some sort of a head bash when you try to hit double SMGs towards Rock like that, but they kind of reset the fight okay. It's just the quick reinforcements for Gentlemates get there to overwhelm.
It's kind of being a bit of a strange search and destroy. A lot of convincing rounds for both teams, really. Nobody necessarily taking a real great hold of it. Right now, it's about who's going to be able to break out from this war of attrition that we're really going through. Scrap sitting at 0 and 5. That's not like him at all. So expecting him to maybe step this one up. But a big hit over towards A from the defensive side from Thieves. Diamondcon will get some information from that side of things, and we'll back it on up. I don't mind this at all from...
Yeah, I think that information is everything as well, because now Kismet's going to feel very free to take the super long Giga route through the water. He could actually go backside boathouse if he wants to. He doesn't even need to go straight in. But instead, we'll hop up. and put himself in position for what will be a post-plant setup for Kismet with an AR in hand. Problem is, look at the discipline from Hydra to clear this. Are you kidding? What a heads-up play from Hydra, and now all of a sudden, B's not really an option. Scrap's gonna be able to find the cross, and everything falls apart just like that because Hydra crosses his T's and dots his I's.
Going up against a former teammate and just reads him so easily. Information was there, and the problem though for Gentlemates, there was no noise. There was zero noise going on across the map. And as the quiet continues, if you're Hydra, you're like, okay, how are we kind of sitting here? Okay, where could people be? And he goes for the check, and it's just superb timing. Kismet's like, oh, I'm running free here. Yeah, no problem. I mean, gets Hydra at 9 HP. Wins that gunfight. We've got a very different round. But yeah, it's just great awareness.
Oh, yeah. I think the other part about that is, like, Thieves get a read really early that this is just a fake with 1 trophy, 1 stun being thrown towards A. Oh, okay. They're not actually committing to this. Yeah, we would see more than that.
I wouldn't necessarily try to get into sales of Gentlemates on that one, really.
No.
It's a nice round for Thieves to get a hold of. Can they find another and actually get a little bit of separation here? And that has been the problem. Hydra.
Oh, mercy.
Head down. That's free as a bird.
Good help.
And out as well. Yeah, Scrap's done sensational. This is so much better from Thieves. Scrap stepped it up with 3 in a row.
Yeah, you talk about the duo of Scrap and Hydra together. That's another instance of why you love seeing them play off one another. Scrap says, I got you. You make your playthrough window. Both come away with the kills that they want and need. And now it's a near impossible 2v4. Nice shots from Diamondcon, though. Gets one shut down. Trade from Envoy, guaranteed. And now it's just on Johnny, who has been made aware of after his elimination onto Ghosty. So 1v3, now down to a 1v2 for Johnny with 25 on the clock.
I think he has been the shining light. We'll have to shine very bright to win this one. Heads over towards the B side. Everything thrown over the top, but
here's
sadly
Envoy.
For you, Around Man does indeed get paid. Envoy will find another.
Really clean from Thieves.
Super clean.
I mean, that's just perfect set play action. We see that a lot from a number of our top teams, but this is perfect. Hydra gets window. You can see it in the minimap. Scrap is watching on the corner the whole way around. And he's even got help from Envoy nearby, tossing nades towards Patio. So it's just everything is covered to allow Hydra to make that first blood play happen. And then from there, it's just play your trades the way Mama taught you.
It's a wonderful Call of Duty. Thieves right now looking to ascend themselves to the knockouts. They are, well, a round and a map away from doing so. Gentlemen, it's kind of all at sea here. We've got to try and find something, and this ain't it because Envoy is shooting lasers, and the only man who drops Scrap is his teammates. Thieves in the blink of an eye are 2-0 up.
What are we talking about? Thieves out of nowhere. I mean, it's just a simple reset in the skyline early on, and yep, find a pillow and a blanket for that guy. It's night time. It has been so calm, so comfortable, and just so much more like we would expect from Thieves in a matchup like Gentlemates in particular. So, convincing start. Gentlemates, their key is starting to flash red. It's in the danger zone as Thieves are firmly in control, go into their control. Coming up next, Hacienda, right after the break.
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify. The official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup.
Now here on the Boulevard, it's a truly amazing place. Amaze indeed, with light bending, mirrors everywhere, mazes all across the building that'll have you wondering, where am I? Who am I? What is this? All right? Now I always ask myself, who hypes up the hype man? Now I can hype up myself because you handsome. You handsome. But where am I? Am I over here or over there? Huh? I could be anywhere.
Welcome back, friends. Whether you have a broom or a belt, might want to pull it out because Gentlemates are in some trouble right now. Thieves all over this matchup 2-0 with very convincing maps. Looking at their best mode coming up, and it's going to stay on Hacienda.
Stings, really does sting. If you are Gentlemates. And, well, look, we were in the same position yesterday for them, right? They were 2-0 down after 2, but it is a extremely different feeling now. It was entirely different in the game yesterday. We were questioning whether or not Gentlemates had really stepped it up. Has this change made the difference? And have we seen Thieves maybe just not quite performing at the level we expected? And, well, both of those things could have been correct, but, I mean, that entirely has changed today. What a performance it has been. Start them young, yeah? We love to see children in the car like that. The baby is literally 6 months old. Get them involved. I love to see.
Just forget about the rating of the game. Now, I got to say, today has been very, very straightforward for a lot of us. Unless their name's G2. Happening over on the B stream, how about this? 5 Fears, the squad that's only here because Carolina forgot how to do paperwork. They will upset and eliminate G2 Esports in 5 maps. And I'll tell you, some of the maps that 5 Fears won were really convincing. You heard them talking about it on the desk and the couch with Mac as we were loading into this series. That 5 Fears had won the opening hardpoint. They also slaughter the map 5 search. And that's when Exceed gets to be Exceed. Pop it off, yelling trash across the stage. So 5 Fears will make their way into the Group A qualifier. Now, a tough road. They still have to play Cloud9 there, but here's a look at the series, and this was a tight one for the most part.
It was. I mean, look, the maps that G2 are going to win like, are very close Hacienda, very close control, but other than that, quite comfortable.
Yeah.
5 Fears. And that is the worst possible way G2 could have ended the year. They looked very poor against C9, and then to lose against the team who really shouldn't technically have been here. They did not qualify directly in a certain sense. That signals bad news for a few players on that roster.
Yep, I would imagine that's going to be full rebuild over there in the Minnesota camp. It's too bad because, like you said, their jerseys were sick.
Yeah, we didn't get to see them, bro.
No, we did not. No, we did not. But for us here, it's Gentlemates trying to bounce back and avoid the Key Crusher as we look at Hacienda Control. Again, just in case you haven't been watching competitive Call of Duty this year, Thieves love this mode. They are very good at it. That's how they've won championships in the past throughout this year. And Hacienda just continues to allow them to do what they do best. One of the best innovators once this map was added to the pool of figuring it out from both sides of the control zone as they will start 100 Thieves on the defense to get us kicked off.
The map's just great. We love it. We love some Hacienda.
Classic.
It's just, it's very classic. Got some casting in this map in particular over the past couple of years, don't get me wrong. And we love it. Hydra kicking off with 2. Help this push over towards the defensive side. Clear off A if they can. Opening break goes the way of Thieves.
Yep. Good read, though. That for Gentlemates. Yep, there's a couple of players that have gotten through. Back onto the point is Kismet to keep the clock paused while the rest of his teammates try to work out of what could be a spawn trap by Hydra and Ghosty. Hydra misses his window to try to find shots towards Lunars, and that will actually get Gentlemates back over with some numbers here to look very convincingly at the first tick, maybe even the second at A. Ghosty forced the challenge, finds the kill, and now it's just down to what do Gentlemates want to do next.
I don't hit the position from Gentlemates though.
Neither.
It's just a case of actually trying to finish off the setup. The ingredients are there. The combination not quite worked yet, but some promising signs at least anyway. Diamondcon not going to be able to find that, and there's the clear. And now all of a sudden, you are mostly back in your spawn. You do have one out in Lunars. He may well be able to do something here, and will. Finds a kill on the Ghosty. That will open some doors. You know, relatively ajar, but Gentlemates are going to be able to run on through. It's going to be a square up over towards B.
Yeah, really nice life here from Hydra, winning the connector, also getting a stun out for his teammates on the Lunars, but the kills to follow, good for Gentlemates, leaving Scrap by himself, and he gets caught trying to finesse over the brick wall. So, opportunity with a close well spawn for Gentlemates to try to reinforce B, but instead they're going to cut through connector and try to get some more work done at A.
Yeah, stay away from Scrap. There's not really any need to worry about it. The rest of these inevitably would have been coming over towards B. And you get some sort of control over towards A. It has kind of worked out. A bit of a pinstripe kill feed, and he's gone. There you go. I felt like that collapse was potentially coming from Thieves, but that is very well worked from Gentlemates.
Yeah, really good call, too. Just kind of to adapt after you get all 4 down to say, yeah, we've got well spawns, but we've got a free route to A to finish off the extra 60 seconds. So you've gotten that work done. Now it's just down to a 14v14, figuring out how to survive and maybe even win this round. And Kismet has opened up space through Patio, traded by Hydra. 6-2 start for him. And Gentlemates spawning over towards Mid-Secret are going to try to extend the map just a touch.
Still not the easiest thing to do. We know that A is the the harder to capture of the two, but it's still never solidified. One to defend here for the side of Thieves. They can set their stall out. 12 versus 11, 12 versus 10, they are big kills. But for Gentlemates, it's always felt like they've had someone alive in a good position, and that is helping.
That person right now is Johnny. Diamondcon keeping Scrap away from the outer fences that well. Double stack between Hydra and Envoy through stairs to quickly pinch this B play. Eyes up though for Lunars, finds the first. Hydra scouting things over towards top window. When does Johnny get activated? Trying to go now, trying to catch someone off the spawn. Finds one just off screen. Kismet in the corner though gets dealt with. Team shots come through on that. Johnny seen on the flank and dealt with. That first tick does get locked, but getting a follow-up is going to be difficult with only 7 lives.
Force their way forward. Ghosty and Hydra may well have solidified it, and if they didn't, then that will. Scrap lines them up, knocks one down with the help of Hydra on the second, lining them up. This round is over. A 7 versus 2 just not possible. But in fairness to Gentlemates, they put themselves in some good positions there. I like kind of the patient play coming through from Johnny. They did well to get out of on the well side and the defensive side of the map. But ultimately, not enough to quite get themselves over the line. Thieves will find the first round.
And those last couple of kills are not just insignificant eliminations. Hydra, I believe, puts himself on 7 with that, so a potential hellstorm starts to brew up here on the breakoff. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think in terms of how the series has gone so far, you look at a first offense with 4 ticks and you say, all right, you know, we're hanging, we're getting involved.
Yeah.
But then those last 30 seconds happen and you're like, what?
Well, yeah, I suppose it's one of those though, isn't it? Like, you take that final roll of dice over towards the point, you kind of got to rush it a little bit, but I like the setup. The opportunity was there. The execution, okay, can be questioned, but as mentioned, the ingredients are there for Gentlemates in this control so far. Yeah, to really cook anything up.
But this is the difficult side because 100 Thieves, one of the early innovators and one of the early masters of how to play offense on Hacienda, there is no such thing as an unlosable round. Unwinnable round, rather, I should say, when they're on the offensive side. Good break off, though, for Gentlemates. Going 3 for 1. Scrap the last one left alive. Will back away to keep his position over towards connector and actually maybe put a foot on towards the zone, especially with that kill on the Kismet.
Else is coming. Position activated by Kismet jumping inside, and now all of a sudden Scrap has a freebie. Isn't going to be able to quite find the second. Hydra's not going to bother either. Oh my goodness me, please don't lose that gunfight, Kismet. Ghosty's going to be able to find something on the other side. But yeah, Thieves are struggling here. They really can't get out. They do have Envoy in a not so bad position. The rest of the team maybe need to slow down whilst he tries to get something going.
Kismet gets caught committing into a gunfight that put him into a very difficult spot. Lunars read down low into Hydra, able to win that battle. Johnny working with him on the low ground. Turns for the gunfight versus Scrap, can't win that. And so now Thieves out of the spawn trap and on to B. And that is where things start to get dangerous. You clear the full floor out, you got a double stack on. Envoy trying to find one off spawn, not going to work. Can nades come over the top to land? There is a trophy system, actually 2 trophies here to keep the Thieves safe. And it looks like Gentlemen are going to just chalk and rotate this.
Now have a look over the top of Plat. I'm just going to be there to pick up the pieces if they do have a look. The B is gone, and Hydra's starting to play. They'll find another, will go Steve, can't find anything else if you're Hydra, but they are just going to transition quite quickly over towards this A side. Envoy, yeah, could have done with staying alive. To be honest, this is still not bad from Gentlemen. It's okay, you lose B off one push, but they really have kept them at bay over towards the A side.
Johnny able to be seen, at least for a moment, by Scrap. Not able to get the elimination. On the climb up towards window, doesn't look good for that. But it does give, again, 100 Thieves a good look to see where the rest of the Gentlemen squad is. Because with the last one left alive, on the defense playing forward as the clock comes to another pause. There's the even up on the tick progression, and possibly more to come here. This is a nice little opportunity for a stack for Thieves. Halfway through the second tick, Envoy still alive, trying to get the turn, but Ghosty has his trade, and the play could still possibly be alive with Hydra around the back. Can't quite find the second, but the pressure on the zone is still alive.
Hydra was lingering around there, waiting for his team to actually try to get something going. Didn't want to give up his position, but eventually drops back down. And now involved in capturing with it. Really not far away. You need to go if you're Gentlemen, so you need to go very quickly. Diamondcon, the last domino to fall, and that's 100 Thieves, 2-0 up, just like that.
It's just in the blink of an eye. What looks to be potential spawn trap situations against Thieves turns into immediately on A. Unreal stuff, man. They're so quick. They're so quick.
I mean, almost to a certain degree, I'm watching Hydra just linger up top and just having the trust in his teammates to actually be getting something done over towards A. And if you need somebody there to pick up the pieces, great. If he doesn't need to, he's in a wonderful position to just cut off more reinforcements. It's this moment here. Envoy trying his best to survive, and it was Hydra eventually dropping down and dropping 4 as the round ends. It's all about positioning. It's about patience. And Hydra, for his efforts, sitting at 18-7.
They're 2 rounds.
It's incredible. This is more like it. This is more what we thought we were going to see from Thieves this week. Slowly warming into this one, but making mincemeat of Gentlemen so far.
In a series like this is the expectation. You know, when we saw this matchup in the initial group pool, you assumed that this was going to be the action that we saw. It was a 3-0, but again, all 3 maps were tight when they first played. This feels like a, all right, now the wheels are turning the right direction, and this is when I think you start to look at Thieves and say, this is the scary Scott that we expect to see. But not out of the woods yet here. Gentlemen's finding some early success on B. First tick locked, about even in the life count, minute 9 on the clock.
Just working their way through again. Johnny finding himself in good positions here. I have been impressed with him, specifically in this series. I think if anybody has a candle be held towards him, it has probably been Johnny in this series. Specifically in the control, he has been trying to make plays for the squad. Succeeding mostly, but couldn't quite get it over the line, but maybe an opportunity here over towards the B side. Ghosty finding the shots. Can he? Yes, he can, as always. Andrew there to try and pick up the pieces once more. Not able to this time, Johnny. Lighting it up 5 in a row now for Gentlemen, and B's not far away. Yeah,
I mean, this has been another story, kind of a different chapter of the same book here for Gentlemen, where we're seeing one player really take over and show their potential. That's Johnny right now, 21-13 in an 0-2 effort at the moment. They will get the extra 60 seconds. Small life edge, made a little bit better by Kismet there, slips away, Lunar's there to support, and this might lead to a very quick transition. Yeah, you can get Diamondcon on the point to stop the clock again.
Kismet trying to finesse where he can. Johnny finding another 2. He really is trying to put the team on his back right now to try and drag them over the line and this attack. And if they get a hold of this, you go over towards the defensive side and you say, right, can you get something done to force a round number 5? Still some COD to be played, but Johnny lining up here with the jacket. Oh my goodness me, nearly finds Hydra. But he's doing his work, and that second tick's on its way.
Yeah, 6 life edge, second tick, looking like it's going to be a guarantee. Lunar's watching down low, Kismet playing up top. Small contest, but every single kill goes the way of the Gentlemates. Just one more opportunity to try to touch this would be out of Scrap, but as he falls, yeah, there we go. A nice response by Gentlemates to get on the board with the full 6 ticks of capture.
Johnny and Kismet taking over when needs be.
If you know, you know.
You do know. Gentlemen, it's trying to get themselves back into this one. And that wouldn't have helped them either, would it?
No.
Not even remotely.
But again, that's just like the thing about Johnny, and I think the dynamic between him and Kismet's an interesting one because, you know, Johnny, I think, has a little bit more of that flex potential from what we saw when he was playing back in Vanguard. Some of that was kind of mandatory based on the maps that we had back then, but he's got the chance to jump off the page immediately. I mean, you saw it in Challengers a lot. You even saw a moment of it, I think, throughout this season where it's just like, yeah, his individual skill is strong. It just comes down to finding the right pieces around it, and now, how about it? Both Johnny and Kismet getting aggressive through window, find the opening couple of eliminations, and now Kismet's on 6 in a row, really brewing towards that Hellstorm.
I mean, really, we've seen some glimmers of hope for Gentlemates over these last 3 rounds. Yes, okay, they get the last one, but even the previous 2, there was opportunities for them. They took it in the previous, but right now they need Johnny probably to stay alive. Always find themselves in good positions, though. 24 and 14. It's not just about the positioning for me. He's taking up a lot of space for his teammates, but he has been caught. And now, view the dominoes start to fall once more. Thieves have put themselves in a position as soon as Johnny dies, they have nothing to work with, and everybody else, it's just difficult.
Similar narrative what we saw in the hard point. Once the SMGs are down and you looked at the ARs to follow up, they're not able to. It just has not quite been there. Combined 30 and 48 for Lunars and Diamond Con, and Hydra just continues to dominate positions that Gentlemates would love to have. B is gone. First tick at A gets about halfway done before the defense can recover and try to move across the map in their own right. Even exchanges on both sides as we get to the 20v23, advantage to Thieves.
Just working the kills in and around office, and he has to take that all day. We're gonna have to worry about the flankers coming through. Lunas and Johnny find themselves in a good position. Lunas actually finding 2. Looking for the 3rd over towards the other side, but Ghosty trying to play a spoiler. If he can continue to keep farming players off, a door will inevitably open for his teammates to get through. May well have to swing back round. He's not going to be able to. He's dead.
Yeah, but play from the front. Reestablishes the sides for a moment. Johnny makes sure that the clock keeps on ticking. And in this process of exchange, Gentlemates have gotten the life difference just down to even now with that kill from Johnny. Looking for more, and you'll find it. Goodness, 28 and 17, 3 in a row. Creating some space now through the well side. His teammates flooding over towards Spiral and towards P2. The only one who is through is Scrap. And he's looking for kills at the moment while his teammates are still spawn trapped.
Hey, boys having a game. 4 in a row from him. Johnny looking for the 5th. Envoy not going to be able to be found. Went for the Charl, and it's not going to now allow Thieves out. Scrap has not rotated back over. He hasn't needed to. Putting himself in a position where he can jump onto A pretty quickly. But Kismet behind, trying to be sneaky. We'll find one. Looking for more. Scrap could be the next. Johnny's there to find it. Gentlemate's doing a good job here. Yep. 3 kills up.
And that first tick still not secured. They would need it if they want to tie the ticks of progression that Gentlemates were able to find. Kismet just playing in a corner. Should find one trade onto Scrap. But here comes the rest of Thieves. This is where they create opportunity out of nothing. Tick gets finished. Kismet just trying to save the round at this point. 11 v8. Ghosty down low. Keeps the clock paused for a moment at 20 seconds. Trade from Diamond Con good, but the numbers start to get back to even to 15.5, and you've got a couple of members that could really threaten this for Thieves. The Scrap finds another double.
He's done well. Very, very tight now. So Lunas will be patient, as will Johnny. He finds one. You've got to find something here if you're Ghosty and Scrap, and nothing but the respawn screen. The right time for Gentlemates to switch it on was 2-0 down in the control, and 2-0 down. Can they get a touch? Not quite in time.
Most importantly, they don't get that second tick either.
Yep.
So this is going to come down to the life differential in terms of who gets that round 5 defense. So we'll see. I'm not great at arithmetic. No math, I'm a scientist. I leave the counting to the scoreboard.
It's never been our job. We'll just, you know. I try not to get myself in trouble with those things, Alan. But
I get myself in trouble all the time.
All the time, yeah. But Gentlemen, so this has been much better. Like every single round they've been competing. The ones that Thieves have won, like, okay, yep, they found their moment. But for the most part, it kind of has felt like Gentlemen have been the one somewhat dictating the rounds until they don't when they've lost them. But when they've won them, they've looked pretty convincing. So let's see what they can do here in round number 5, whichever way it's going to go. I don't think it matters a great deal. Thieves now in the attack. Yes, okay, technically a little bit more difficult, but it really does come down to how Thieves execute when they get the opportunity, because when they do execute well, Gentlemen cannot deal with them.
And then the biggest difference in that life count is that Johnny's got 33, Envoy's only at 16, so another little bit of a lackluster map right now for Envoy, but still 2 members for Thieves. In and around the B point, Ghosty in some trouble. Contest will come back through, but not before that first tick of progress gets locked.
Honestly, Kismet just doing it all on his own as well. Bats them away, deals with Scrap, forces Hydra to have to back up, but Hydra's going to come back and help his teammates out. Right now, Gentlemates are running this map fairly comfortably. But how comfortable can you truly be when this man is skating around you? Luna's tagged up and found. Now a little bit of progress over towards B. Not quite cleared this spawn out yet, have Thieves, but they're in a good spot.
Oh, Kismet gets the read, onto 1. Envoy playing outside 10. Johnny following up, should be traded by Ghosty. And it will be. But the problem is he's got no help, so he's got to finesse it by himself. Good opening tags onto Lunars. Predicts the follow-up gunfight and wins it. And no one else in the immediate vicinity. Kismet's going to try to run through patio, see if he can jump on in to get the contest, and he will, just in the nick of time as Johnny joins them to clear the zone.
But they have to get there pretty quickly, so that's opened up some doors over towards the A side. 2.5 ticks in over towards B. A progress starting to be worked on, but it is these big fights. They're just not coming out on top. Lunas and Diamondcon starting to perform on the back of Johnny with 36.
I know it. And that first tick at A did not get locked. Diamondcon now on 6 in a row. Looking for more to potentially be lined up, but no. 6 life edge for Gentlemates. 45 seconds on the clock. 100 Thieves working out of a bit of a pressure play onto their spawn. Kismet finessing after his first kill. Johnny up and over, catches Ghosty, and this could be how Gentlemates close out map number 3.
Yeah, they just can't get a read here, Thieves. They're really struggling to keep an eye on where the Gentlemates members are. This might actually be locked in for Hydra. Has he extended the time on his own? Yes, he has. And I think I actually don't hate it from Gentlemates just keeping their position. That has been working for them, but they've given Thieves more time to potentially find a way back through.
Problem is, all Gentlemates have pushed up and are forcing the spawns way deep behind that mid-statue at driveway. Hydra looking for something. Anything to create space. Envoy doing the same as they try to play off the high ground. There's that first tick finally locked at A. That's the only play to possibly move the defense back. Johnny, meanwhile, is on 5 in a row. Kismet slips the net from Envoy. Trade is out. Clock stays at a pause. 6v15. Not impossible yet. Just comes down to what more Envoy can find from in the zone.
6 in a row from Johnny. He's not died in quite some time, but 5 versus 14. Johnny eventually drops. Now we're squaring up in the middle of the map. One more final opportunity here for Thieves.
This is doable. Just comes down to if you can find the kills and then stack. Lunars will drop. Scrap finds a freebie onto Johnny. On the zone they go. Ghosty finds one more. It's just down to Diamondcon up top. Semtex gets tossed his direction, but Diamondcon finds a second. Envoy still alive on the zone. He's working this alongside Hydra. Can they find the kills that they need? No, almost, but not quite enough. It was right there at the finish line, but a small stumble has Gentlemates extending the series.
It's all about the Johnny show. Incredible work from him throughout the entirety of that map. And we, Alan, have a series. Sensational work. Just really staggering the Thieves consistently. And that kind of felt like a control from Thieves where they'd been 2-0 up in very easy fashion. Was it lackluster potentially? Had they maybe had their feet up? Were they thinking about tomorrow already? And you can theorize all you want. What we know for a fact, though, is that Johnny absolutely took over.
Absolutely. Over 40. Casually over 40. And doing a lot of it just alongside Kismet. The two of them together gives a bit more of a lifeline for Lunars and Diamondcon to get their guns hot. And then when they do, Diamondcon gets 6 in a row. They're near the end in pivotal positions, making sure there's no quick transition. And there is the final elimination. You see it, just a sliver remaining. Mayhem, Coach Mayhem locked in on DC's screen, getting the boys fired up. Now having to reset, looking at a rewind hard point for map number 4.
Lovely work out of Gentlemates, innit? If any of the maps you thought they were going to take, that probably wasn't it.
Correct. Yeah.
Finding themselves Assia under control. 42 and 23, 4,700 damage. Tip of the cap to Johnny for that one. Incredible work. And honestly, the way he was finding the kills. Okay, the gunfights were good. Yes, okay, he was winning fights you wouldn't have expected him to, but it's the position that he was doing it in. Towards that last round, he was in Thieves' spawn on 6 or 7 in a row.
Yeah.
That's a big difference maker. Thieves are barely getting out of their spawn because of one guy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Johnny's got playmaking potential without question.
100%.
We've seen it throughout the weekend. We've seen elements of it in the late stages of the regular season. But is there enough in the tank to go into a rewind hardpoint? A map that Thieves don't lose often unless you're playing up against a team like FaZe. They did drop it yesterday in the series versus the Vancouver Surge, or the guys that really have had their number a number of ways in the last couple of series. But that was a winnable map for them. I mean, 201, 250 was the tally there, so.
I mean, look, these two played this map yesterday. It was a close game. 26 points was the difference in the end. And again, that was one of those games we really did focus on Diamondcon and how he was doing. And Kismet was the guy that had to drop the 40 just to force it to that stage. Johnny's just forced the 40 to get them over the line in control. And also a map that they did play yesterday. It was Thieves who managed to take it 3-2. They have been close on occasion, but those first two maps were such a blowout that you're wondering whether or not Gentleman's have any steam left.
Well,
and they very much do.
That's what happens when you fight for your life. Backs against the wall sometimes brings out the best of you. And for Johnny right there, it absolutely was the case. And like you mentioned, we did see elements of 99 Kiz yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Especially on this map, he was running all over the place. I think he dropped 40 for the L. So
yeah, a 1.54 KD yesterday on the hardpoint rewind for the L. And again, not to reiterate, but just to get anything better out of Dimecon, it was a 0.47 for him in that hardpoint yesterday. And that is a scoreline like right now you cannot bring to the table. He played well in that control. If we see that, we could see him map number 5.
Could do. That would be a red card, just to remind you on the series layout. We'll save the conversation about those statistics if and maybe when we get there. I think the biggest thing right now for Thieves, and again, I know we talked about this in a multitude of ways, but we'll just hit it from a different point of view. They've been dominating the AR battle, and you're going to an AR map that often dictates how the power positions and the money hills go. So I think you're right to say, as much as Kismet was a terror yesterday against Thieves, you're not going to win this map if your ARs aren't performing. And that's what we saw, again, just kind of not to hit it, but one better, just one better.
Of course.
If we don't see it from Diamondcon, though, it's just going to be so difficult. If you have a single-digit K, kills out of your main AR, you're likely not going to win Rewind.
And again, just to put the shoe in the other foot, are you going to get a game like that with Kismet once again? You might not need to if Johnny is going to be there trying to win those SMG battles, but again, like as you mentioned, you need your main AR to be able to find something, and that's the guy who's going to be going up against him and Ghosty. Formidable duo. That's where the struggles have been.
I know it's a lot of weight on a player like Diamondcon, who has been, let's be honest, like he's been like a CDL substitute like for his whole entire career, essentially. Either filling in, like I'm going back to that New York days where like Clayster takes the step back, Diamondcon fills in, does great, but he's not eligible to play Cold War Champs and Challengers because of that. The Vanguard year, in and out, looking solid, I think. And again, just kind of the same situation. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, it's just you find yourself in these weird positions where you're playing with teams that are struggling. It's hard to, I think, evaluate a player on their own when you're dealing with a squad that's just not able to find success in any form. So it's a lot of weight on Diamondcon to show up and perform on a stage like this.
That stage looks like it's getting ready for map number 4. Into Rewind we go. On that we, flirted with, I want to say, towards the beginning of the season, right? We had a little look.
We had a little taste, a little appetizer of it.
I was never that much of a hater. I know some people were.
Yeah. I mean, it came back to the pool for a reason in my mind.
Correct.
Yep. That is a big joy to the Thieves camp, by the way, because they look great on this map.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Let's see how the ARs are going to perform here on map number 4. Gentlemates, can you force the reverse sweep to have some potential here? Map number 4, let's get it.
Indeed, let's do it indeed. Again, I think the big thing that stands out is how the first hard point went, 250 to 78. But Johnny kicks us off with first blood. Kismet Lunar's following up, and this is some nice early time for Gentlemates over P1. Scrap's got a bit of a pinch, but read by Johnny. And this is going to be an electric start from Gentlemates.
Yeah, it's the kind of start they would have wanted. And just to kind of further reiterate the fact that that reverse sweep is on the cards. If Kiz is going to fire like this, it very much is. It would actually be the Giga reverse sweep. They would 0-2 down, if I remember correctly, in the control. We don't see many of them, but when we do, it is a special occasion.
Well, first 23 seconds are good. Working on rotation is Kiz, who's picking up where he left off yesterday. And an opportunity, to flip spawns. That happens immediately just before the P2 lock screen starts to come out. Kismet on 5-1 to get themselves kicked into gear, and what a start this has been from Gentlemen. It's early threat here, though, by Scrap for the rest of 100 Thieves. Spawns are still in for now, but should be blocked, and they are. So it's on to Kismet to play his life. He's been seen, and now he's being chased.
You can see Thieves want to hunt him down. They need to get rid of him. They do not want that thorn, that rather big thorn in their side. Nice clear up from Thieves there. Really good work from Gentlemen off the end of P1 to get over towards P2, but that's the kind of position that you're not going to be offered too many times. If you get that hold, you really could have done with a little bit more. Now they find themselves somehow behind.
It's the way it goes with Money Hills on Rewind. Hydra cutting off Laundry, no worries there. Numbers from the front being read and dealt with by the ARs of 100 Thieves, and that should be the go call for the SMGs to start getting to work on rotation, which Hydra has found his first kill inside a DVD. This should move the spawns around just a touch and give 100 Thieves numbers advantage as they try to play for rotation, and Hydra's not done 6 in a row.
Starting to try and take over. Kismet will find 2 though, and Luna's alongside. The rotation looking good here for the side of Gentlemen, but it did around 60 seconds ago, and they find themselves down 40. Heading over now towards P3. The setup, the line is nice. But the one thing they're going to have to worry about, look at the positioning of Hydra. Yeah, he slipped behind Johnny, and all of a sudden, that setup is starting to collapse and collapse rather quickly. Ghosty finds one. It is nearly perfection from the side of Thieves, finding that break back all for fall, and they've got Gentlemen exactly where they want them.
Yeah, Kismet, again, staggered off the spawn, forced to take a gunfight, wins a clean one. Softens up the setup maybe a touch, but the trophy systems are doing the job as they're intended to, dealing with all of these opening aids from Gentlemen. Ghosty 5 in a row and soaking up the hard point time. Already has a hellstorm because of it. And you also have Envoy, again, with the freedom to play off a route, creating space towards beepers, and this is just nailed to coffin ideas right now for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think they were worried about players still over towards the back spawn, so if anything, it's kind of a little bit wasted, but irrelevant. They won't care. They got a hold of the break. They will find a kill through the mid-map, and now all of a sudden, the Money Hill, that is P4. Is beckoning here for Thieves. A couple of kills still to try and deal with here. Hydra now on the outside. Luna's next one on the chopping block. Cannot find it. Glimmer of hope. Close spawns coming in here now for Gentlemen. This is up.
Envoy in some trouble on 5 in a row. Hydra, Scrap trying to get themselves back into the play.
I like this.
And Scrap is going to have the trigger discipline to go from one maybe to the other. Did not expect that Johnny had played that far deep, but the trade is right there for Hydra. Giving a little roar as 100 Thieves break back in with 35 seconds to fight.
And this is a big 35 seconds. It takes that gap from something that Gentlemen, with that spawn, they could have got it down to what, 110, 70. As it goes, they could well be nearly 100 points behind after this. Can't find a breakthrough, can't find Scrap. Johnny has done well, though, to find an initial break. Scrap nearly wins that gunfight. He had no right to, but the spawns and the flip will come through. Gentlemen find a way through and still have a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, but now you've got Thieves knowing what they're dealing with, locking down lanes before Generators opens up. And Scrap, Hydra, Ghosty playing off of one another perfectly as they wipe the floor and reset Gentlemen's way back behind beepers. Hydra continuing to bump the hard point a little bit further out. That actually puts a bit of a split spawn situation into play here for Gentlemen's. Everyone playing on an island right now.
Kind of feels like Gentlemen's are hitting glancing blows throughout this hard point, but the counter punch is just that little heavier from Thieves. Every single time that Gentlemen's get themselves an opportunity, 100 Thieves fight back and just offer them a little bit more.
40 seconds to fight for. Numbers start to develop for Gentlemen, but 100 Thieves under pressure. See how they're coming as we go to a Bravia Liciden with 100 Thieves.
Their side. Outer. Watch out. Nice. Gonna be their side now. Two of them quick. I have a trophy. We're good. Yeah, we rudder.
To the side. One more. One shot.
Nothing outer. One more. Right.
Nice. Last guy there, Diamond Con. Last guy.
Top
of the crate.
Yeah, I saw rudder.
Make him chow. They're spawning close, by the way. No, I think I saw
They spawned orange. They spawned orange.
Blue, and one's gonna be mid door.
I have a cross.
Ernie, I have a shot.
Yeah, I have a push.
Ernie, they can't pinch out. In blue.
I'm there.
All right, one more.
Pull single.
One more book right now. Close. And then one already ran down mid street.
Mid. Johnny and looters.
Nice. Maybe P3.
No, book like that. One bullet. Nice. Yo, I spawned brother.
Already book.
Yeah, book. Book, and then they're gonna be behind you.
Blue last and all behind you. Blue last, all behind you. All behind you, Ernie. All there, Ernie.
Yeah, all there.
Could be to your right, Taco. Could be to your right.
Yeah, give me mid.
I'm both to the right, Ernie. I'm both to the right.
I have your bedtime. Watch your limit.
Well, you hear it. It's fiery. It's locked in, and it's doing the job. 100 points up, our 100 Thieves, betting towards P1, and really zoning out Gentlemen's nicely.
It's just been a wonderful transition. You can hear the comms are so clear. It's a little bit better from Gentlemen, though, to try and find a way through. They had some good look over towards P1. We did kick things off here on map number 4, and the transition was great, but the hold was not. They get this 20, they can find a rotation and find a 60, all of a sudden, well back into it, but it's a lot of things that have to happen just to still be behind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, you take a look at just the scoreboard across both sides, 23 and 13, 19 and 12. That's the big news for 100 Thieves, whereas 9 and 16, 9 and 15, 10 and 20. And I'm sure the chat right now is saying, someone help Kismet. Another stellar performance from him, trying to do what he can to effort this team to keep this game close. Envoy, though, in the corner, dancing with it. DiamondCon follows up for the trade. Hydra knows a couple of weak health pools, but again, Thieves just playing good team Call of Duty right now. Break down Gentlemen and get back into the hill.
Staggering all the utility, keeping them at bay as long as they can. Hydra from the side, not going to be able to find a great deal. So for a moment, Thieves are on their own. It does not really matter, though, when Envoy's finding two like that. Scrap gets another. It's a 4 dead with 30 seconds to play here. Over towards P2. The writing is very much on the wall here for Gentlemates.
Yeah.
They need to do something about this right now, or they are crashing out of EWC.
Indeed the case. Over 200 points will go Thieves. Ghosty still getting the job done from the front, and this just feels like Gentlemates have lost composure. Just a late challenge because, well, honestly, you kind of have to challenge everything at this point in time, but it's not winning gunfights. I mean, we got double negative pretty much across the board for Gentlemates except for Kismet, who's holding even, but it's just an out slay fest. And it's another one you look over towards what you're getting out of the ARs for 100 Thieves. They're just having the time of their lives.
Just finding themselves skating around the map, pretty much uncontested. Charles are coming and just not finding a great deal here for Gentlemates whatsoever. It's another easy transition for Thieves. Gentlemates in the moment are unfortunately getting slammed.
Hydra working on just kind of playing by himself. That does get the stick. It's awkward self-trade, but it works. 100 Thieves still on the hard point. Scrap getting a bit of a workout here through driveway. But, well, that's not going to make life any easier. Able to avoid getting concussed by it. Right back into the battle. Still finds one somehow. Ghosty playing towards Hedges. Really cannot contest this, but gets a good read. Good snap. And eventually Lunars for the trade to keep Gentlemates out of the 100-point club and alive on rotation to new.
15 seconds to go on P3 here if they can find a way through. I was about to say Scrap. Is he going to be the one to slam that door shut? Kismet, as ever, is the one trying to answer back. Finds two of his own, but they need to continue to force their way through. Lunas and Co. You need to make the move quickly, whilst 100 Thieves are actually down in numbers, but it does not matter. Scrap and Envoy hold it down. They are 15 seconds away from seeing them tomorrow.
Should be the ball game. And try as much as Kismet was. Just not enough in the take here for Gentlemates to get by their Los Angeles counterparts. One more chance to touch. Not going to happen. 100 Thieves comfortably take down Gentlemates as they had all year long this calendar year. And with that, Gentlemates will be eliminated, their key crushed, and 100 Thieves will cruise into tomorrow.
Better from Thieves. I think they will be very disappointed, of course, with the control. They were in a commanding position. They'd have loved to 3-0, but I'm really still happy with the performance if I'm a Thieves fan. If I'm on the Thieves roster, very calm and composed. A very solid outing, to say the least. But for Gentlemates, not really great to get the right hand about it. Look, they started the tournament in a relatively decent position. We've seen the game up against Thieves and a close 3-0 loss. You would have thought, okay, a couple of plays here and there, that could have been ours.
Yep.
You come into the second iteration of these two playing up against each other here in Riyadh, and it could not have been any different.
No. And the better news, I think, for Gentlemates fans is that you're able to get past the Challengers team inside your group and also still have that little bit of a caveat that we had a chance to take down Thieves in our first matchup, just didn't quite have the right pieces in the right places. And that now, I think,